Episode number 90. I think I know him. Who is he? Remember that I affirm nothing, Monsieur the Commissary, and that I only suspect. Whom do you suspect? Come, answer freely. M. Bonacieux was in the greatest perplexity possible. Had he better deny everything, or tell everything? By denying all, it might be suspected that he must know too much to avow. By confessing all, he might prove his goodwill. He decided, then, to tell all. I suspect, said he, a tall, dark man, of lofty carriage, who was the heir of a great lord. He has followed us several times, as I think, when I have waited for my wife at the wicket of the Louvre to escort her home. The commissary now appeared to experience a little uneasiness. And his name? Said he. Oh, as to his name, I know nothing about it, but if I were ever to meet him, I should recognize him in an instant. I will answer for it, why among 1,000 persons. The face of the commissary grew still darker. You should recognize him among 1,000, say you? Continued he. That is to say, cried Bonacieux, who saw he had taken a false step. That is to say. You have answered that you should recognize him, said the commissary. That is all very well, and enough for today. Before we proceed further, someone must be informed that you know the ravisher of your wife. But I have not told you that I know him, cried Bonacieux, in despair. I told you, on the contrary. Take away the prisoner, said the commissary to the two guards. Where must we place him? Demanded the chief. In a dungeon. Which? Good Lord! In the first one handy, provided it is safe, said the commissary, with an indifference which penetrated poor Bonacieux with horror. Alas, alas! Said he to himself, misfortune is over my head, my wife must have committed some frightful crime. They believe me her accomplice, and will punish me with her. She must have spoken, she must have confessed everything, a woman is so weak. A dungeon. The first he comes to. That's it. A night is soon past, and tomorrow to the wheel, to the gallows. Oh, my God, have pity on me. Without listening the least in the world to the lamentations of M. Bonacieux, lamentations to which, besides, they must have been pretty well accustomed, the two guards took the prisoner each by an arm, and led him away, while the commissary wrote a letter in haste, and dispatched it by an officer in waiting. Bonacieux could not close his eyes, not because his dungeon was so very disagreeable, but because his uneasiness was so great. He sat all night on his stool, starting at the least noise, and when the first rays of the sun penetrated into his chamber, the dawn itself appeared to him to have taken funereal tints.